Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch the video. Much appreciated. And today we're going to have a little conversation about something I've been thinking about a lot. Everybody knows my stance on electronic technology, offshore, not offshore fishing because I offshore fish, but electronic technology and that stuff. But I've been, ever since I've started talking about this, I get the vibe and I sort of get some comments alluding to the fact that they just don't think that guys that fish shallow water all the time are that sharp. It's almost like they think offshore anglers are smarter, and if you're not very smart, you just wind up fishing on the bank all the time. So I'm going to address that a little bit. But hey, real quick before we get started, I just want to remind everybody, and I'll probably drop this reminder quite a bit, Johnny and I are going to be having our first ever in-person all day long seminar October 2nd at the Boatworks facility in Springfield, Missouri. This is going to be an 8-hour in-person seminar. Johnny's going to be handling the offshore electronic study part of it, and I'm going to be handling all the shallow water applications. It's going to have a limited class on this, so if you guys are interested, mark down October 2nd on your calendar, and I'll give you guys all the information. We're getting it ready to get set up on the fishthemoment.com website right now, and as soon as we get all the information for that, I'll pass it along to you guys. But it's going to be pretty fun time. I think you guys will like it. Okay, let's talk about this concept that shallow water anglers are just not that bright. I'm going to start out talking a little bit about Native American Indians. People have the, and because it's relative to what I'm talking here, people have the perception that the people that came before us thousands and thousands of years ago just weren't that bright. You know, even Neanderthals or whatever, if you're talking 20, 30,000 years ago, or Native Americans 10,000 years ago. Guys, these dudes were geniuses. I'm telling you right now, just because they didn't know how to, put a man on the moon or figure out a physics equation does not make them not sharp. They figured out how to survive in a hostile environment with nothing but stone and wood. And if you don't think that's hard to do, give it a try, and you'll find out how much you don't really know about survival. Because when you're talking about, flint knapping to make spears to get animals with, tracking, the ability to sustain yourself in all different type of environments, that there's a tremendous amount of wisdom that goes with primitive technology. And that can be said about a lot of different things out there. Wisdom is relative to what you compare it to, because, somebody can, be a genius in one field and they can just not know anything about another one. So when you're talking about fishing specifically, shallow water fishing versus deep water fishing, it has nothing to do with your IQ level, as far as, if you just are not smart enough to figure out electronics. You have different aspects of intelligence when you're talking about here. When you're an offshore angler that is really good with your electronics, and your mind is just wired a little bit different than other people. It's just like people that are really good at physics or algebra in college or high school, or art. It just comes natural to them. It's instinctual. It's something that's ingrained in their DNA, and it's easy for them. Where those same people, they may find it extremely difficult to know how to weave a basket, or know how to cook, or know how to, defend themselves. There's a lot of different things on that. So when you're talking about deep water fishing versus shallow water fishing, there are aspects of wisdom that go well beyond the obvious there. If you're a hardcore offshore angler, you like to fish with electronics, your analytical, intellectual mind is obviously, firing on 8 cylinders. There's a lot of wisdom that goes with being able to decipher what you see on electronics, apply it to deep water applications, and to make that a successful way to fish. There's an aspect of intelligence that goes with that. But the same can be said if you're a shallow water angler. If you're a shallow water bass angler, there are other aspects of intelligence that are just as valuable. That you have to be able to understand, light intensity more. You have to understand casting angles. You have to understand mood and personality of the fish. You have to understand what stealth means a little bit more, and being quiet. And you have to have the art form of being a better caster. It requires a higher skill set in casting to be effective at shallow water fishing. So you have a lot of different things that require a tremendous amount of intelligence and wisdom, but it's simply focused in a different area. So and you could do the same. I mean, you could take somebody that is just one of the greatest offshore anglers of all time. I'll use David Fritz as an example. David Fritz has had a stellar career, and most everything he's ever done in his career has been offshore. If you put David Fritz in a situation where he had to do nothing but flip and throw a spinnerbait in muddy water all the time, he's not going to be seen as a good angler. He may be seen as a poor bass angler in that environment, but in his environment, he's exceptional. And the same with somebody like a John Cox. If you take away, John Cox's ability to break down shallow water and force him to live scope all the time in open water, it's going to be completely different. So given that, I just think that there's an element of judgment that goes with that a little bit. I see it, and the reason I'm saying this, I see it on some of my comments about basically, people alluding to the fact that if you choose to fish shallow and that's your game plan and that's your strength, that basically you're lacking some type of ability in your makeup to get out and read electronics and fish offshore. That's just not the case. Every single one of us guys, we all have abilities uniquely to our own. We all have an innate intelligence within us, uniquely our own, and all that stuff can be applied to bass fishing as well. So the point of this video, and I'm sort of like standing up a little bit for the shallow water guys here, is don't feel intimidated and don't feel like somehow you're just not smart enough to get out and fish offshore. Because if you focus on shallow water and you're a shallow water angler, you have a skill set unique to people that don't fish shallow water a lot of times, and own that a lot of times. One of the coolest channels, if you guys ever get a chance to watch it, there's a YouTube channel called Primitive Technology, and it's this dude in Australia. I don't even know the guy's name. He doesn't talk in the video. He doesn't say anything about his name. And all he does in his videos is he makes stuff out of the earth. It's like the dude goes out in the wilderness and camps. He's got nothing man-made. He makes his own string. He makes his own everything out of stone tools, clay. It's like he's thrust out into this environment just with nothing at all, not even a knife. He makes his own knives by flint knapping rocks, and then begins to construct these incredible artistic form of housing and pottery and tools and weapons and edibles, and it would make the most intelligent person in the world, they would seem like they don't know anything if they were in his environment, because he's an extremely intelligent when it comes to natural technology. And I sort of applied that a little bit to fishing too. But anyway, just a few quick thoughts here. Just wanted to toss that around for some conversation. Let me know what you guys think. And again, mark down October 2nd for the seminar with me and Johnny in Springfield. Hope to see you there. We'll keep you updated on the info there, and we'll see y'all later.